A normal night turns terrifying for the family of Satya, his wife, and their daughter, Yuli. As they sit down for dinner, suddenly, Yuli's mother starts convulsing violently. She screams in agony, completely bewildered by what is happening. Visually, sharp needles erupt from her hands and eyes, a gruesome sight that petrifies Satya and Yuli. In her frenzy, the mother grips Yuli's arm so tightly that the girl cries out in pain. Satya manages to pull his daughter away, locking her in an adjoining room. "Stay here, my love," he urgently whispers. "I'm going to check on your mother." Moments later, horrific shrieks echo from beyond the door. Yuli is trembling with fear. Suddenly, an immense force from the other side shatters the wooden door. The power goes out instantly, plunging the room into darkness. Peeking through the splintered wood, Yuli sees a monstrous face. Her mother's transformed into a hideous, terrifying visage. Yuli screams and collapses, unconscious. When Yuli wakes up, police are swarming the house. She learns her mother and Satya have both passed away. A woman, Wati, arrives with her young daughter, Laras. Wati introduces herself as Satya's first wife. In a previous life, Satya had divorced Wati and married Yuli's mother, making Yuli his daughter from the second marriage. Wati immediately confronts Yuli, labeling her a bastard child. 2 decades pass. Wati is now elderly, and Yuli has been kept in the house like a servant, enduring constant abuse and humiliation from her stepmother. Wati arranged for her own daughter, Laras, to marry a man named Rudy. Laras and Rudy have 2 children, Tika and Dean. Tika is a devout student at a local Islamic school. Her teacher addresses the class, warning them about Sijin mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Mutaffifin, verses 7 to 9. He explains that all bad deeds are recorded in a book called Sijin, while good deeds are recorded by angels in another book called Iyin. On their way home from the madrasa, Tika and the other students see something near Yuli's old house that frightens them, causing them to flee. Meanwhile, back at the house, little Dean is playing with an Ouija board in Wati's room. Yuli is tending to the ailing Wati. Tika arrives and immediately scolds Dean, telling him to stop playing with the board, as it is evil. Dean ignores her. Wati's breathing becomes ragged. Dean asks Yuli, "Auntie, would you like to speak to someone who is dead? You can use this board." Yuli replies, "I used to want to speak to my parents, but not anymore." Hearing the mention of her parents, Wati sits up with a labored gasp. Struggling for air, she pulls Yuli closer, her voice laced with malice. "Your parents deserve to die." Everyone rushes into the room, but as Wati glares at Yuli, she begins to cough up blood, and with one final, agonizing heave, she dies. Neighbors arrive for the funeral rituals, reciting the Quran. As Wati's body is prepared for washing, a voice announces, "Everyone except immediate family must leave." Yuli hesitates. Laras confronts her instantly. "What are you doing here? You are not a member of this family. Get out and go arrange the shroud." The cruel words cut deep, a culmination of a lifetime of abuse from Laras and Wati. As Yuli stands before Wati's corpse for the last time, her mind is flooded with memories of the relentless torment she suffered. Then, to her horror, she sees Wati's body sit up, its dead eyes staring right at her. Yuli screams. Laras rushes in and delivers a stinging slap. "My mother raised you since you were little, and now that she's dead, you put on an act? You ungrateful bastard." Laras berates her mercilessly. The funeral proceeds, and Wati is buried. The family owns a small grocery store where Yuli and a man named Yanor work. The next day, after a customer pays, Yuli takes the money from Yanor, saying she will give it to Laras. Laras appears immediately, her face contorted in anger. "Why did you take that money from him? Yanor works for me. Why would he give it to you?" Yuli tries to explain, "I was going to give it to you." But Laras doesn't listen, and strikes Yuli across the face. Yuli's rage finally boils over. She turns to Yanor. "Please help me. You have witnessed the constant abuse I endure." Soon after, Yuli and Yanor drive to a secluded location to meet a malevolent sorcerer. Yuli hands him a photo of Laras's family. "I want to destroy this family," she declares. The sorcerer asks, "Do you want to harm them, cripple them, or kill them?" "I want them dead," Yuli replies with cold resolve. The sorcerer begins the ritual. He manipulates several needles with his finger, and instantly, the family photo bursts into flames. "A black magic curse will consume this entire family," the sorcerer explains. "But for that, I need the corpse of a person who has been buried for less than 40 days. Yuli asks if the body of a family member would work. The sorcerer replies, "Even better." Yuli is thinking of Wati's freshly buried body. However, the sorcerer warns, this magic requires self-sacrifice. He presses the tip of a lit cigarette onto Yuli's hand, marking the painful start of her deadly commitment. That night, Yuli and Yanor go to the cemetery and exhume Wati's partially decomposed body. They transport the corpse to a nearby abandoned house where the sorcerer is waiting. Yuli is made to sacrifice a goat. The sorcerer skins the animal, grinds its bones into a powder, mixes it with rotten eggs, and strings the mixture onto a thread. He takes a metal plate etched with the names of Laris's family. He takes one name, Dean's, and rolls it up inside a piece of the goat's skin, tying it shut with the ritualistic thread. As he chants a spell, Wati's corpse's jaw terrifyingly drops open, and maggots crawl out. Yuli inserts the rolled-up amulet into the gaping mouth. The corpse swallows it immediately. The sorcerer announces, "Their deaths are now in your hands. Be prepared for anything. You must complete your task before the corpse fully decomposes, and you must continue the ritual until everyone you've targeted is dead. Otherwise, the entire curse will turn back upon you. The jinn only favor the wicked and the lost," he concludes. "Make sure they are all sinners who deserve to die. Only then will you succeed." Meanwhile, Tika is performing her prayer salat at home. Suddenly, a fireball drops near the house from the sky. A window shatters, and a beetle flies into the room. Tika is frightened and unable to complete her prayer. Behind her, a family photo falls and breaks. The black magic has begun. Tika hears a noise coming from Wati's old room. She goes in and sees a water pitcher on the floor. As she picks it up, she glances up at the bed and sees her dead grandmother, Wati, sitting there unnaturally. Tika screams. Yuli rushes in. Tika cries that she saw her grandmother. Yuli calmly dismisses her. "Go to sleep, you must be mistaken." As Tika leaves, a wicked smile spreads across Yuli's face. The next morning, Tika tells Laris, "Why did our photo fall? Something is wrong. I don't feel right about any of this." Laris ignores her concerns. Dean interjects. "I called Grandma last night with the board. She said she's in great pain." Tika pleads with her mother. "Let's pray for Grandma this evening, Mama." Laris, who is not very religious, initially refuses. "What's the point? Your grandmother's gone." Tika insists, and Laris reluctantly agrees, placing the responsibility entirely on her daughter. As Yuli leaves the house, Laris stops her. "Where are you going?" "You haven't cleaned today. Clean it now." Yuli simply refuses her. Laris is furious. "Ever since my mother died, you've become very bold. Clean this room immediately." Yuli walks out without saying a word. Laris is enraged, but Tika tells her, "Don't worry about Auntie. I will handle it." At the madrasa, Tika tells her teacher about the strange happenings and seeing her dead grandmother. She fears a wicked force has entered their home. The teacher reassures her, when a person dies, they are immediately preoccupied with the questioning in the grave. They have no power to return to this world. If you saw something in your grandmother's form, it was the work of the jinn. Later, the family gathers for a prayer gathering Dua Mahfid for Wati. As the recitation of the Quran continues, Tika dozes off. When she opens her eyes, she sees her entire family standing before her, but blood is pouring from their heads. They are all screaming. Terrified, she quickly snaps back to reality and sees everything is normal. Meanwhile, Dean is back to trying to communicate with his grandmother's spirit on the Ouija board. Suddenly, the planchette violently moves. In the abandoned house, Yuli is performing the next step of the ritual. She rolls up another amulet in goat skin. She uses a blade to cut Wati's decaying throat and shoves the amulet inside, then sews the cut shut with a needle and thread. Suddenly, a beetle flies into Dean's ear. He is immediately struck by an excruciating headache. Unable to bear the pain, he slams his head against the door repeatedly. His sister Tika hears the thudding and desperately tries to open the locked door. When she finally manages to force the door open, she sees Dean's head stuffed inside the Ouija board. His throat is horrifically mutilated. He is dead. Tika screams. The family gathers, mourning Dean's death. As they leave the burial site, Yanar confronts Yuli. "This is because of the sorcerer, isn't it? Dean died because of the black magic, right?" Yuli replies coldly, "He was nothing to me. They are all sinners." Yanar snaps back. "They abused you, and I tried to help, but what you are doing is evil." Yuli reminds him, "You were with me, so you are just as guilty." She then walks away. Tika goes to her teacher, weeping as she tells him of her brother's unnatural death. She is certain they are under a black magic attack. The teacher tells her that the Prophet Muhammad was also once targeted with black magic, but 2 surahs, Al-Falaq and An-Nas, were revealed to dispel the evil. "Pray your salat, seek refuge in God, and no evil power can touch you," he advises. Tika prays as instructed, seeking God's protection. As she finishes and says, "Ameen," she hears a faint whisper behind her echo, "Ameen." She turns, but no one is there. The next morning, Laris is getting ready for the store. Rudy stops her. "Where are you going? We just lost our only son." Laris replies with a shrug. "What's the point of staying home? It won't bring him back. I have to go." Yuli watches them with a subtle smirk. At the store, Laris is harsh and dismissive toward Rudy. When he cuts his hand, Yuli intervenes, gently bandaging his wound and showing him compassion. Rudy is visibly touched by her kindness. Yuli then deliberately drops 2 soda bottles on the floor. Laris is livid and starts to yell at her. This time, Rudy steps in to defend Yuli. "It was an accident. Why are you scolding her like that? She never talks back, and you and your mother have always put her down." Laris is enraged. "Why are you defending her? Get back to work," Rudy snaps. Who am I? I'm just a poor man. You only married me so you could order me around like a servant. Have you ever treated me like a husband? He storms out and returns home. Yuli follows him. Rudy is upset that he argued with his wife. Yuli goes to him and embraces him, comforting him. Rudy confesses, Laraz never consoles me like this. Yuli whispers, I am here for you. They end up sleeping together, exactly what Yuli intended. Laraz calls Rudy repeatedly, but he ignores her. Yuli urges him to leave Laraz and choose her. We will be happy, she coaxes. Rudy refuses, stating he has a family and a child. Yuli mocks him. Do you really think Laraz will forgive you after what just happened between us? Rudy realizes he was played. This was your plan. I should have known. You are just like your mother, who stole your father from Laraz's mother, and then you were born. Yuli is furious at the insult and curses him with vulgar language. Rudy turns to leave, but he sees Tika standing in the doorway, staring in shock. Rudy immediately apologizes to his daughter. What you saw? Please don't tell anyone. He flees. Tika is devastated. That night, Tika is praying and using her prayer beads. She senses someone whispering her prayers along with her from behind. She looks back, but no one is there. When she turns forward, a shadowy, terrifying figure appears behind her. In the abandoned house, Yuli is now inserting another amulet into Wadi's cheek. Meanwhile, the teacher begins a protective exorcism for Tika's family. As Yuli inserts the amulet, the power goes out at the house. Yuli lights a kerosene lamp, but as she looks around, she sees Wati's rotting corpse sitting up behind her. When she looks again, it's back down. When she tries to light a candle, Wati's half-decomposed body is suddenly sitting right in front of her. Yuli screams. Laraz and Rudy are asleep. Suddenly, Rudy begins to vomit violently. He rushes to the bathroom and is now throwing up blood mixed with bone fragments. A beetle crawls out of his mouth and enters one of his eyes, moving inside his head. It then emerges through the other eye, pulling his eyeball out with it. Rudy screams uncontrollably. The horrific apparition of Wadi appears before him. Rudy collapses and dies. At Rudy's funeral, as the prayers begin, Yuli stands on the edge of the line, watching Laraz and smiling faintly, a smile Yanor catches. He grows increasingly uneasy. Suddenly, Tika finds herself standing at a grave, then snaps back to reality, just as the funeral prayers end. As the second salam is said, a row of terrifying veiled women appears before her. She sees herself at the grave again, being dragged into the ground by a figure, and she is covered in stinging insects. In reality, she is screaming, and everyone is trying to comfort her. Once they are alone, Tika cries to her mother, Everyone is gone, Mama. I know someone is doing black magic. I can't lose you too. The next morning, Laraz finds Rudy's jacket in Yuli's room. Why is this here? What happened between you two? Laraz is about to slap Yuli, but Yuli catches her arm. Rudy never loved you. He came to me willingly. Laraz calls her a bastard. Yuli slaps Laraz and throws the same insult back. As they argue, Laraz grabs Yuli by the hair and throws her out of the house. As she leaves, Yuli screams, Your whole family is being destroyed because of you. Later that evening, Yuli is walking toward Yanor's store. She sees him talking with Tika and suspects he has revealed everything. Back at the abandoned house, Yuli carves a slit into Wati's corpse to insert one final amulet, this one for Yanor. Yanor is locking up the store when the metal shutter keeps springing back open. When he steps inside, it suddenly slams shut. He sees the terrifying figure of Wati. As he tries to escape, the shutter falls from above, crushing his head. The next morning, Laraz and Tika arrive at the store and are devastated by the sight of Yanor's body. That evening, Tika is sitting alone when the ceiling suddenly collapses in front of her, unleashing a shower of maggots. She hears a strange noise from her mother's room. Going inside, she finds the room in chaos. She looks under the bed and sees her mother in a horrifying, altered state, grotesquely chewing on bones. It is clearly the work of a jinn. The possessed Laraz attacks Tika. Tika begins reciting verses from the Quran. Strangely, the jinn inside Laraz recites Ayatul Kursi with her, but the curse remains potent. This jinn is too powerful. Tika barely escapes, locking herself in the wardrobe. She manages to call her teacher, but the call drops. When she climbs out, the jinn grabs her hair from above. Tika breaks free and runs for the front door, but the jinn catches her, about to kill her. Suddenly, the teacher and several other religious men burst in and begin a powerful ruqya, an Islamic ritual of exorcism, on Laraz. Laraz collapses, unconscious. They carry Laraz to the mosque. On the way, Tika notices a light on in the abandoned house. Suspicious, she sneaks inside and sees the gruesome ritual involving Wati's corpse. She finally understands everything. Yuli appears and confesses with a chilling smile. Since you're here, yes. I killed your entire family. I suffered a lifetime of abuse, and no one loved me. Did you know your grandmother used black magic to kill my parents? She told me they deserved to die. If my parents deserve to die, then you all do. Tika calls her cruel, warning that God will judge her. She flees to the mosque and tells the teacher everything. The teacher begins the powerful ruqya to expel the jinn from Laris. Laris convulses violently. The teacher completes the first stage and shouts, Allahu Akbar. Lara starts vomiting blood. The teacher stops Tika from going near her mother, warning her that the danger is not over. In the abandoned house, Yuli attempts to insert the final amulet to finish Laris. But as she tries to sew the slit closed, the needles snap one after another. The power of the ruqya is interfering. As the teacher intensifies the ruqya, the jinn inside Laris is tortured, and this pain is reflected back onto Yuli. Yuli begins to inflict wounds on herself, driven by the jinn's torment. Enraged that the ruqya is too strong for her magic, Yuli grabs a rock and begins savagely beating Wati's corpse. The teacher blesses water with prayers and sprinkles it on Laris, forcing the jinn to leave her body. Laris vomits a stream of blood. At the same time, the jinn turn on Yuli in the abandoned house. A group of them brutally stone her to death, completely destroying her body. Laras is barely alive from the ordeal. The teacher tells Tika to recite the declaration of faith so Laris may find peace. As Tika finishes the kalima, Laris takes her last breath. The sorcerer's warning was proven true. Yuli failed to complete the ritual and kill Laris and Tika, causing the entire curse to turn back and consume her. Her seduction of Rudy was merely a calculated move to ensure he was a sinner, making him a more acceptable target for the evil spirits. If you liked today's video, then you know the curse is far from over. Subscribe now to ensure you don't miss our next descent into darkness.